Morning. How you doing? Trying to make myself comfortable. Difficult on a chair. I've got a dodgy coccyx. Got arthritis in my coccyx, at the base of the spine, which means I can't sit down properly. And I've got, not arthritis, the other one, I call it arthritis, a couple of at the base of my spine, not right down at the bottom of the coccyx, a bit further up, which makes it a bit painful to stand up. So I can't stand up very easily and I can't sit down very easily. Right. There's a lot I want to say. Let's start with something. It's maybe a bit unfair for me to start here, but it's where I'm going to start. On yesterday's video called Agony, somebody said that they prefer that type of nick, that type of nick, because it's an unbiased sort of nick. Now, I think that was meant to be some sort of a compliment in some way. It was a comment anyway, and it certainly wasn't a nasty comment. But should I say it was so horribly wrong that it's kind of inspired this video. Ever since I read it, this video has been percolating away. It shows, like a couple of other commenters yesterday, which I suppose is absolutely normal, that they really haven't understood a word I've talked about the brain. They've got their stories about how they work and how people work, and they ain't budging. And I think we can all understand, agree, that is perfectly normal. It's what we see in everyday life. Shifting people from their stories is very difficult indeed. Okay, biased. I think I know what the commenter was meaning, but I'm going to take it to what the word more means, or at least means to me, and say that this brain, okay, I think I can hold the track here. Alan said yesterday that what mind was, and it's quite interesting and maybe even quite useful. Mind apparently is used as the brain braining when it is doing thinky stuff, not when it's, say, controlling the heartbeat or whatever bodily things, but when it's doing thinky stuff, that is the brain in motion is called mind. Right. The mind, useful word, mind, is always biased. Now, when I say that, I can think I can see the picture that you can see. And that's wrong as well. And that is not just the commenter, I mean everybody. The brain is always 100% biased. My brain is, your brain is, everyone's brain is 100% biased. That is what a brain is. A mind. Because, going to the other two commenters that were commenting on, did I make one or two other videos yesterday? Oh, it's the one, wasn't it, where I asked the other question about the twins, and I thought I was being reasonable using the sense of self being labelled an I, and then being given attributes by society that it doesn't have. But I don't know if it touched a nerve, but it got a couple of people out of the woodwork to really have a scream about their stories, which were basically, I mean, the words were hedging round it, but what they were basically saying was, no, I am an I which is magic, and I can delve in and deal with the mind when it's getting out of control. And we'll get to that right at the end when I ask another question. So, the mind is always 100% biased. And that is 100%, you know, because the first idea that I think you had was the natural story idea that everyone has, because it's what society has pumped into us since we were babies, that we are an I, and then things are applied to it. So you were seeing an I being influenced by various things. It was being biased by various things, and it's not that. There is no I. Take the I out of the picture. All that's left is 360-degree biased. Right, a little jump this morning to a factual thing, that my Windows 10 went blue screen again this morning. I think it's more when I put it on sleep or hibernate, and it opens up to the internet, and it struggles opening the page I've left it on, and it seems to crash at that. And going back to yesterday, where I was gabbling a bit, a Windows engineer would understand that and would go thinky and go, oh yes, okay, and go into work and write a little something down and say, we've got to debug this because of. He would understand, or she. Should I go into that? There's the he and the she in that as well. I thought about that a couple of days ago. But it's not planned for this video. But it's basically why there are more geeks or more boys that are geeks than girls. You must have read about it. It's been a perennial problem at places like Google, where for some reason the male-female ratio in the workforce is well out of whack. It's boys, and they put it down to all sorts of things. They say it's a locker room mentality and that keeps the girls out. A bit like engineering. They say, you know, that old boy engineering was a rough, tough thing and the girls don't fit into that environment. Crumbs, no, that takes us down a long path. But I'll give you the short version. It's silly to tickle you without. I think a lot of this story stuff is a girl's thing. And I'm not talking, you know, girls, modern girls. That's what it has evolved into. I'm talking well back into Homo sapiens coming down from trees and all that. Or it's where, like the base of so many genetic things, women have the babies and they're lumbered with the responsibility of it. And it is vitally important, has been, through the millennia, and that's lots of millennia, for them to have techniques to find boys who will stick around a bit and help them with the kids. And I think it's all part of that. And I've got a longer story. It links it all together and makes a bit of a sense of it and takes it all the way up to Google. But basically the girls deal with the stories, the boys deal more with the facty, the hunting as opposed to the gathering. And ne'er the twain meet very well in certain small now percent of the population of people what have I described them as, nutters, me, nutter, who can't get on very well with the stories. But surprisingly, I've always really not liked the company of men at all. I've always preferred the company of women. Anyway, or girls. Where was I? The bias thing, the Windows thing. It's unfortunate. I've come and gone on this because I don't know if you're forced to come and go or it just gets boring. The best way to describe a brain is by likening it to a computer. And the computer analogy is bloody bordering on fucking good. It really is. And there are two things against it that I can think of, that when you really understand computers, you know it's wrong. And when you understand brains, you really know it's wrong. But for those 1% in those two specialities, for the rest of the population, it's bloody marvellous. It really is the ticket for describing brains. Because it emphasises the point that there is nothing special in the human brain. Okay, jump to another story. I've told this one before. When I was either 12 or 13 at school doing RE, which we called divinity at school, being taught by the Godbotherer about religious education, divinity, I got caned because I got too uppity with him when it came to the human soul. And I asked the question, do other animals go to heaven? And the answer was no, only humans go to heaven because their soul is different. And I wouldn't take this at all. And it's my life maybe has been an ongoing fight against this specialness of humans. We are brought up to believe we are special. We've got this special eye that can and should do better. And in the natural evolution of a growing child, it always does better. And that doing betterness is attributed to the brilliance of the eye using its willpower to overpower the worseness that it was doing. Should do better, could do better. This specialness is a problem. I mean, it knocks right down to niggers, doesn't it? Niggers. The slaves, why were they allowed to be slaves? Because they weren't human. They didn't have what it takes. Was it even religiously said that they didn't have souls like good white human souls? Probably, eh? But you could have slaves because they weren't special like we were. There's this theme of human specialness, and it really, what it comes down to is me. I'm special. And it does expand itself out to us, our little group, we're special, is pernicious. But it's everywhere, and it's in just about every stinking story that's stacked up in your priority pyramid. And I realised another thing that I should mention this morning. This priority pyramid thing is a bit of a mistake as well, because it leaves the door open. In fact, it kind of leaves an impression that there's the priority pyramid that's there, and then there's an eye that starts choosing from the priority pyramid. I'll go straight to the end, or I could ramble on all morning, I think. The question is, this special fucking eye that you think you are, why is it so fucking shite? Why is it so crap? Why is it so ineffective and ineffectual? Why can it only achieve half the things as it says it's ever going to do? In fact, I've got a name for this video now. So where's the name? Wherever the name is, up there. You'll understand what I'm meaning. Why is it so crap? If it's so special and fantastic. There's no point me saying it doesn't exist. There's just different specialities in the brain getting on and doing different things. It's communism. It's weird that it's a non-hierarchical system, the brain. It's a non-hierarchical system, as in, yesterday I said, at a push. I was just giving, I was being reasonable. At a push, the prefrontal cortex is quite bossy. But don't get run away with that. It's just, it's slightly more equal than the others. It's a non-hierarchical system, communist system. In a way. That's odd too. Why does such a singularly prototypical non-hierarchical system get together with others non-hierarchical systems and always demand hierarchical systems that we see now? We must have a king, a prime minister, a president, the CEO of the company, the boss. You've got to always have the boss. And this all develops out of a non-hierarchical system, which is the brain. It's really quite odd, that. But in a way, think about it as communism or a committee. And think, why is this non-hierarchical system so fucking crap at getting things done? And there you've got your answer. Well, that won't convince anybody either. The non-hierarchical system. And it isn't very clever. Because there is no boss to actually say, there's no, what's divine ruler? Is that what it is? When you get a king that's an enlightened king or something? There isn't one. But everyone imagines they are one. It's really strange. There is no magic eye. There's just a lot of departments. It's a big building with lots of rooms. They connect by phone, but there's no, what do they call it, C-suite. There's no top floor where the bosses are. So maybe it's no wonder it's so crap at getting decisions actually to be stuck to. Right, I'll leave it there. Oh, the question. That's it. That is the question. That is the question. Why, read the title, why is this eye so rubbish? It sets out to do so many things, simple things, just simple things, that it knows it can do. But for some reason, it actually never gets it done. Why is that? Bye. See you later.